You started to say you were going to show me how you did.
Yeah, I'll show you how. You know, again, one of the things that I don't have time for, neither does anybody else that's got cattle, is I don't have time to be babying my equipment. You know, I don't want to, I've got to be real careful or I'll bend it or damage it. No. The thing about it is when you've got 10, 1,200 pound, 1,300 pound cows standing around this thing, they're pushing on it. And I don't have time to mess with it. Either it'll work or it won't work. If it doesn't work, I don't want it. And so the thing I like about these is I'll show you here in just a second, I can pull up with a tractor if you know, when it gets muddy around where the hay is, you want to get your cattle out of that mud, I can pull up here, lift this thing up, move it anywhere I want it, set it down, and it's a no hands, no touch, just move it. And I've not bent one of these things yet. And then because I haven't just pulled up and lifted it up, I mean, I don't baby it. I mean, I don't abuse it, but I do, hey, I move it, so.
When you go Bob, you go quality. Go Bob Pipe and Steel. When you go Bob, you go quality. Go Bob Pipe and Steel. When it comes to your farming, you like keeping it real. You believe in quality. It's why you trust the men of steel. Men of steel. When you go Bob, you go quality. Go Bob Pipe and Steel. Go Bob.
This is something that we thought about and that I wanted to try. Bob did it for me, but it was this. This is how salt gets wasted as well. It gets on, they knock it out of the trough, they knock it out of the pan. You can see it gets dirty, it gets muddy, and they don't go after it as good, okay? And so by putting it up here off the ground, right by where they eat, they're naturally gonna wanna get to it or go to it more. So we've done this and we've got it in other feeders here at the ranch right now. You put these salt blocks in here, they've got these drain troughs in the bottom, so we're not accumulating moisture when it rains, okay? And we put these, we've done this, and our salt has been lasting a third longer, just because we're not wasting it like this right here. Do you think these things make your life easier, Brandon?
These things make my work 10 times easier than it has been.
Yeah, it's just less labor, period.
Yeah.
And you know, like I told you, Bob, in the beginning, the whole thing out here is maximizing your labor. I mean,
Efficiency.
it's about being efficient, getting it done, and going to the next project.
I'm
And
sure you don't volunteer out here, do you?
Not at all.
no, sir. The fact that there's always hay in that feeder, that cow that's eating right there is a real timid cow.
And the others are gone.
She's
Now
gone,
got a
and
chance.
she's up there eating, and I never have, see, a lot of times by the time the timid cow makes it up to the feeder, there's no feed. If you got one bale in there, they'll eat that bale. She won't get her chance, and so there'll be one day out of 3 she doesn't get to eat because she never gets to the feeder. Well, the fact that there's always hay there, she always gets to eat.
That's good.
And she's that female there is the most timid female in the pasture. That's what happy cows look like. You want your cows to look like this? Get a GoBob feeder.
Any way you can even estimate the amount of time that these feeders have saved you so far?
Yeah,
this fall?
it's easy. I haven't done the math on it, but I can tell you this. When Brandon and I put out feed, when we do hay, Brandon, what's it take us, an hour and a half? It takes us an hour to hour and a half one time a week. But before we got these, it was an hour to an hour and a half twice a week. Because driving back here takes the same amount of time whether I'm carrying one bale or two. Doesn't matter.
You cut it in half.
So I've cut my feed time in half. So I would tell you that I'm saving, on just what we're doing here, we're saving 2 to 3 hours a week of just, that's hour time on the engine of my tractor, hour time for Brandon, hour time for me. So if you do the multiplier, you know, just in the cost on your equipment, you use it less. Less fuel, less engine time, and less me out here wrestling hay when it's raining or snowing. It's made it way easier.